Hello everyone, my name is Morgan. I am the creator of Strawberry Studios, and today I'm going to be doing a video about how I created my shop and how I prepped for it. So there is a lot to go over in this video, so stick with me. I'll try to cover everything that I went through and what I needed to do so I can hopefully help you guys out there. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this video. The first thing that you want to do before starting is you want to have a good to-do list and schedule and note-taking system. I personally did not have this when I started this whole thing, so it was very hard to get motivated and get started. So if that sounds like you, create lists and create schedules. Whether you write it down or put it in your iPad. Like I use Notion occasionally, but honestly I just do not go on it enough. Getting started with the steps and stages, there is 4 that I found to creating and prepping for the shop launch. Number 1 is going to be prep and research. It's going to be a long one, so stay with me, but it's very important, so you don't really want to miss anything. Before you start your shop, you obviously got to ask yourself, what are you going to sell to your buyers? What type of product do you want to have in your store and produce? So for me, the first things that popped up in my mind were stickers, prints, keychains and pins. Those ones were a little bit iffy because I obviously can't make those myself. We'll get into that. A few other things, so I'll go ahead and list everything else that you can make in your shop. So you can have prints, stickers, sticker sheets, notepads, bookmarks, keychains, and enamel pins. And for me, I personally want to try to sell some jewelry at one point. Definitely not right off the bat when I launch my shop, but in the future I'd like to get around to selling necklaces and bracelets. Another question you gotta ask yourself is how you're gonna market your brand. You gotta obviously sell yourself and your name, and that can be kind of daunting at times, but you have to have that in mind or else you're obviously not gonna make any sales and it's gonna just be a waste of you buying products. So have that in mind. Where are you gonna sell? I'll go over that a little bit more later. The next one is shipping and the cost of shipping, and then labels and how you're going to get that and obtain that. This step is a little bit stressful, at least for me, and I feel like it probably is for other people because it's just like, you don't really ship things nowadays. For me, I've watched several videos. I'm not going to go fully in depth here yet because I am still kind of figuring it out. I'm going to be using Wix for my website, and I believe Wix has a built-in thing in it where you can print a label from it when orders come up, and you can hit fulfilled and it'll give you a label and everything like that. I'll print and slap it on an envelope or a bubble mailer depending on how big, and then we're good. So as you can tell, I haven't shipped anything yet, so I'll probably in the future make a better video about it because I'm still new to it. As far as I can say, I'm going to be buying some stamps ranging for about $14 for 20. So it's like point something cents. I'm terrible at math. I'm not even going to do it. But I'm going to buy some of those. And then you're going to want some normal mailers and then bubble mailers. The bubble mailers, what goes in those specifically, if you create the bulkier things like pins and keychains, those items are going to go in your bubble mailers. And then your prints and your stickers are going to just go in your regular mail with one stamp, which is a forever stamp, which is what I said was about $14. And then if you have the bubble mailer, you're going to have that normal stamp and then an additional postage stamp for the bulkiness of it. Then obviously you just send it like in one of those little blue boxes, or you can go to the mail US post office yourself and give it to them. The next question is if you were going to be using Etsy to sell your artwork or a website that you're going to create yourself, which would be using Wix or what's the other one? It starts with an S, right? There's another website that there's 2 websites and it's Wix and the other one. I personally just decided going with Wix. I saw a lot of videos of people that also were creating like their own little shop businesses or art shop businesses specifically that used Wix, and that's really what got me wanting to have a domain from there. So that's all I can really say about me choosing that. As far as me going from website to using Etsy, I did do a lot of research about that as well. Some people said that just Etsy nowadays recently is just taking so much of the percentage of what your sales are, so it's like kind of not really worth, like there's not really a big profit there. And also personally, I really like the thought of creating my own design and my own shop and my own theme, and you can't do that at all with Etsy. So I wanted it to be like my website, you know, like I love that. Like I love being able to just be like strawberrystudio.com. You know, I just love it. I'm just so excited. That's what I really liked. That's why I chose a website, was because I wanted to have it cute and design and have a cute theme and have my own handle. It's probably a lot harder though. We'll see. Now this kind of fits in with your prep and research and the equipment that I already went over there. That's kind of ties into here, that if you choose a website, obviously you're going to have to be paying for the domain. For Wix, I'm pretty sure I bought my website domain like at Labor Day or something like that, because I got a pretty sweet deal. I believe I got 2 years for $200, so $100 a year. I've seen other people's videos where they use that other website that I just cannot remember the name of, and they said they spent like $250 for a year, and I was like, I got a steal. So look out for those deals on Wix, especially around Labor Day or whatever, like those type of days. I've had this for my shop domain bought for months now, and I haven't even launched my shop, which is my own problem. You should, if you see a deal, buy it, but open up your shop soon after. Don't wait like a half a year. Also, after deciding what website you want to use, it can be very daunting at times to just like see a blank slate and then like have no idea what to do with that and like where to start. So I definitely recommend you look at other people's shops, other people that are, you know, in the same business, and I got a lot of inspiration and a lot of ideas from them, and I'm very proud of my shop. I think I did originally have a different one before this finished one. I did not like it, and I just was like, this just doesn't really feel right or like look right for me. So I completely erased it and I completely started over. I created something I was very much proud of and very much love a lot more than the first one. I did see somewhere that artists did both. One person said that she started with creating a website and then she went to Etsy. I might in the future try it out to see what it's all about. If it does seem to just be not really worth it, then obviously I'm not going to continue with that. I'm barely even starting launching my shop, so I'm not going to do two at once right now. I think the biggest thing for research and prep for your shop launch is going to be looking into equipment. You're going to need a lot of equipment and it's going to cost you a lot. So that's going to be a lot of research in itself. So you're really going to decide what is your budget and how much you can afford and how much you want to spend. But you don't necessarily need everything that I'm going to list here, because another big question would be is if you're going to create your own or you're going to use a separate manufacturer to make your products. So that's another thing. I have actually tried using Sticker Mule in the past. My only issue with that was I don't like having to choose, like the lowest quantity I believe for Sticker Mule was like 20 stickers for like, I don't remember how much it was, maybe $6 to $10. I have no idea. I didn't like that you had to make 20 stickers because I never sold 20 stickers, but that was one of the things I've been putting on like my Christmas and birthday lists for years, was a Cricut and a printer. So I did end up getting those, not at the same time. I think I got the Cricut for my birthday and then my printer for Christmas. I personally use the Cricut Explorer. Oh gosh, this is the thing about not buying my own, is that I don't really know what specifics they are. I have the Cricut Explorer 3, which like I said I got for my birthday, but price will be shown right here. And for my printer I used the Canon Pixma. For all the other things that you may want for your store, such as the keychains or the pins, you're going to probably manufacture those. I'm not going to start with a launch of those, but yeah, you want to research about your pins and your keychains amongst other things that you cannot manufacture yourself. and you want to figure out what brand you want to use. My little research that I did led me to here. These are what I'm probably going to do in the future, but going to having the lists and the schedules and stuff, I'm going to throw in, when you start having products, you're going to want to put them in Excel and have like a whole entire product sheet, as well as having somewhere documented of everything that you've bought for your shop for tax reasons. I am not going to really go that much more into detail because this is kind of a gray area for me. But all I know is that you want to write down everything that you're buying for production or creating for your shop. Step number 2 for me was creating and starting up designing my shop. Having a theme and that brand tied to the theme and having a name brand, that all in the long run I think is just going to really help me. I just like that. I like that I am confidently like the creator of strawberrystudios.com. Like that's just so cool to say that I have a website, you know? Not saying there's anything wrong if you wanted to just create an Etsy shop. I can totally see that that is a lot easier and less of a commitment to do. I really do like importing products. I think managing products and adding the product photo in there and adding the description and everything about that is very satisfying. I liked to, in general, have like the very like strawberry milk theme. Like I like the strawberry milk color all around the backgrounds, and obviously I have to have a strawberry at the home page at the top. Me personally, down here, I wanted to have somewhere where you can go to click on my social medias, specifically my YouTube, because my YouTube is the one social media that I really want to grow. I really enjoy creating YouTube videos and videos in general and editing, and I think that whole process is really fun. So I wanted to have that kind of media, or whatever you want to call it, on my homepage so people could easily access it without them typing it in or it being too small or whatever. Hopefully I'll be good about keeping it like updated with all my recent uploads. The next and the most fun part, in my opinion, well, designing the website was pretty fun, but it was also a little bit daunting at times. But what wasn't so daunting for me was creating product for my shop. So having a general idea of what you're going to be selling design-wise is good to have. So for example, for me, those would be cats, animals, fruit, plants in general, so like flowers, plants, whatever. And maybe like food. That's what I like to see in products, especially like stickers, and what I like to draw, as well as some fan art. But I know fan art can be very tricky, so that's a whole nother thing. I am slowly growing my sticker inventory, and I will only be growing that more and more because I think having options is never a bad thing. I do definitely need to go back and create more prints. I think I only have like 4 or 5 in my shop right now. I've been focusing a lot on my stickers. Another part of the fun process is getting to print and cut it all out. So I have multiple videos about all of these stages as well, specifically for prints and for stickers. I will most likely make more videos in the future of making, like I said, jewelry, probably what I do and how I manufacture my pins and keychains when I get around to that. If I ever make any other future products, I will most likely have a video about it because I'm a big how-to person. I like having those videos around. And one thing though that I always was like, well, how much should I make for product? How much should I be printing? For starting out and having a low following like myself, I decided I'm just going to be printing per order. So pretty much what it sounds. I printed enough so I could have for product photos. I'll get to that, but I just printed a few, depends. I probably printed as much as I can fill out a full sheet of paper because I don't like to waste paper. So I'll print out like a full sheet of paper's worth. You know, I'll wait until I sell all of those pieces and then I'll print more. Going on to taking product photos and putting them into your shop. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory. You just need to have really good lighting. So what I personally do, I like to have natural lighting. I like the sun to be shining on my artwork. I think that just makes, like, that's obvious. That's the best lighting you're gonna get, you know? The sun is on it. Overall, I just look for natural lighting and no shadows on your artwork. Obviously, no one wants to see shadows on your artwork. You want it to be bright as you can get it. But I also don't edit any of my photos because, again, I want it to be as visually real as it can be. So really quick as well, I almost forgot, the paper that I use specifically for those are this Moab photo matte paper for my prints. I am a big fan of this paper. I will link that below, as I got that from Amazon. Then for my stickers, I use this printable vinyl sticker paper for inkjet and laser printers. It says it specifically on there. I have both matte and glossy. I pretty much just use the glossy one. I think it just looks better in my opinion. And then I also have this premium vinyl sticker paper that goes over the top of my stickers, but it's supposed to go over your sticker and give it, that like little shimmery effect that you'll see every once in a while. So yeah, that's what I use for my paper. I'll have that as well linked below. And also I'll have a price breakdown after all of this so you can kind of gauge how much I spent as well. FYI though, I do have a full-time job separate from this shop that I'm trying to start up, so I have income and I save it. So yeah, really quick, let's do a bit of a price breakdown. Note, you do not need everything here. It also helps, if you do want everything here, to add some items to your Christmas or birthday list like I did. All right, moving on. The next thing for creating your shop is thinking about prices. This is the hardest thing for me, I swear. Like, it's just, how much do you price your work? Like, what if no one buys it if it's too expensive? But then, like, if you make it too cheap, then like no profit, and like all that time that you spent on it, it's hard. It really is hard. So what I did here was ask for support. I asked people around me, by people I mean like family members, close ones, friends, whoever, help me out. But also what really helped me was looking at people's shops again. So going into people's shops and seeing what they price their prints and like the sizes that they use and how much they price those sizes and the quality and blah blah blah. That really overall helped me decide, okay, my work I would say is as good as their work and it's the same size, so I should price it around the same price. And that's kind of what I've decided. I'm sure I will probably mess with the prices in the future because I'm still not confident with the prices. I am a total hypocrite, and I'm, like I said, I think all those things that I said earlier. If my shop doesn't do anything at all and doesn't get any traffic, I have decided I'm going to start entering to become vendors and be in like artist alleys and like local markets and stuff like that. So hopefully I can get some sales there. Another product you're going to need is obviously going to be something that you create your products on. So for me, I use my iPad Pro. I also very frequently use my sketchbooks, just my normal sketchbooks, and my pens that I'll get and my markers that I already have had for years. So a lot of my stuff I have is stuff that I already have had for years. Number 3 is marketing and growing your business. Basically where you're going to get your brand seen and your traction and gain a following and community basically for yourself. So for me, my 3 things that I use are YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And I feel like those are kind of like the basic ones. I used to use other things back in the day, but limiting to yourself to like 3 or less I feel like is pretty good, because even 3 can get a little bit like too much at times. Like, I don't even post frequently as much that I'd like to now, so maybe even starting off with just 2 stuff. Specifically for creating videos, it's really helpful when you can just, like, for example, you post on YouTube or on TikTok, and that TikTok video that you just posted can be a reel on Instagram, and then it can also be a YouTube reel, so like you can post it on all different platforms and get all the different people seeing it and different people hopefully seeing it. So, but I do want to state, as much as views are important, they do not have to be the reason why you may or may not open up your shop. That's kind of how I was thinking. I was like, I need to gain a following, or at least a more active following, so these people can see that I'm creating the shop and like go to it. As I've realized, it's been 6 months since I've bought my domain and I haven't even opened up my shop yet, or even teased about it or even mentioned it or anything. So I'm just gonna do it. That's kind of like the premise of this video too. Like, you should just start your shop. Like, there's not gonna be a perfect time. I wish I started it earlier, so then I could be like making this video now about like 6 months into owning a shop, but now I gotta wait 6 months for that. So yeah, views are important, but you don't need them to start or open your shop. So going with the very first thing I said, planning a schedule for your social media platforms is really going to be handy. I didn't really do this at first, but for me, I'm trying to post YouTube videos on the weekend starting now because it's nice for your followers to know, like, oh hey, this person posts pretty frequently on Saturdays, so I'm going to be checking their channel every Saturday or whatever. But also like Instagram posts and having not necessarily a day, but maybe like a time. Like if you have a full-time job like I do, posting every day around 6 p.m. it can be pretty consistent and helpful for your followers. So having a schedule is always going to be nice. It's never going to be a flaw, I don't think. Like I said, I do use Notion. I just don't use it a whole lot because I prefer to write everything down. But here is just a brief look at what I have. I do have my shop information stuff and just like design ideas over here. And I have some YouTube plans, and you can go very in depth with Notion. It just can be a little bit overwhelming. So that was also something I had to do a lot of research and YouTube video watching to fully understand and to, create my own Notion page. But if you don't want to deal with having to deal with learning a whole entire new website, I get that. So I also have done research and people starting off going to markets, like I said, and I've even watched YouTube videos of people like saying like this was their first time results and how well it went, and how they didn't even have a shop or a growth yet until they went to these markets. That's something that I'm like really planning into my head, that if this shop thing, at least at first, just no one buys or goes to your shop and you get no traffic, go to markets, go to craft fairs, go to all the things that you can set up your art, because that's gonna really help you with marketing, traffic, and sales in general. But that also is kind of a whole nother like expense side of it, so I'm not gonna go into that. I haven't even really looked into it. I've barely just dipped my toe into that. So, and you can like sort of do it at any time. Like you kind of have to like apply in advance and then they have to accept you. But once they do, like you can enter as many booths, artist alleys. You can do that as many times as you want throughout the year. We are on the last stage, which is to launch your shop. It's very exciting, very stressful too, but we're there, we've done it. The first thing you want to do is plan a date. Have an idea of when that date is going to be so you can let all your followers know, and you can be like, hey everybody, I am going to be launching my shop on blah blah blah. Come check it out on blah blah blah. Please, thanks. Take this with a grain of salt. But for me, I'm trying just to not have high expectations in all of this. Like I said, I don't have a high following. I just don't really think a lot of people are going to see my work. And so I'm not going to get a lot of people seeing my website. But I do plan to do those markets and do more and produce more. So hopefully people do see my work. I'm trying my best to like tell myself like don't let it get you down. But in general, analytics shouldn't be a reflection of you or your work. There are going to be people out there that will like your work. Just the hardest thing is finding them. But I know it can be really hard to get started and get motivated in general, across whatever barrier you're struggling with. Like for me, I think it was just like that question that I think literally everybody gets is that like, what if nobody buys it? And what's helped me push through that is having that market and craft fair backup. All right, that's it. I think I've hopefully covered everything. So if you guys have any questions or comments about anything that I may have missed or just in general, please comment them down below. I will try to answer everybody's comments, questions, and concerns. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this video helped you or inspired you. Please go check out my shop, strawberrystudios.com. It truly means the world if you do. I hand design, handcraft everything myself. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Bye.